How do I tighten this?
Video.
Use your neck.
Oh, so that. This is kind of weird. I don't know how to
Oh, man, hit him with the snake twist. The double
Both hands.
Right. Oh, no.
Alright, so we back again at fold. Alright, no take twos on the intro, but welcome. We here, just the three of us this time.
Mm-hmm.
We got this guy right here.
This guy.
We got
This guy. And that guy. You already know
that guy
who
over
it
there.
is. We got Brighton over here, Mr. Burgundy.
Still don't know how to tie a do-rag, but
Why you coming at me, bro?
Oh,
This supposed to be the
Jake with the
trio,
treasure.
the three musketeers.
the three of us.
Supposed to be working with each other.
Well, I mean, I saw how you
No,
was
bro.
working with this
yeah,
earlier.
like you.
I was
Listen,
like, whoa.
don't
there.
bring that up, because the audience ain't
hands,
never
bro.
gonna see it.
Oh,
alright?
Patreon?
You know what? If you ever get that big,
Whoa.
Wait, what, bro? Oh, yo,
this whole segment is Patreon right now.
Oh, yo, it's dead, me, bro.
Well, y'all talking
Hey,
wow.
Right, well, you
We
got.
talking, bro.
You know how to save it.
I was just saying.
Anyways, yeah,
bro.
it's just the three of us today, so let's get it started. Let's start
get
doing
it
these calls.
started. Oh, man. Priceless. Absolutely priceless. All right. You can intro us.
So today is a calm topic, but is it ever calm with us? We're just gonna talk about women proposing in relationships.
To men.
Does it have to be? Well, you know what? Actually, yeah, that's.
For this particular topic, yes, it does.
I would say that that's assumed
No.
because
For this particular topic.
In what?
Hold on. In a lesbian relationship, if it's two women, obviously a woman's gonna propose. So that right there speaks for itself. We're talking about how do you personally feel if you being a man and a woman proposes to you instead of you propose to a woman.
Right.
Yes,
So
if
just
we're
for
being
clarification.
Yeah, I mean, if we're being that specific,
Right.
I understand.
That's what
you're
I'm saying.
All right.
Yes.
Under what circumstances would it be problematic? Only
Yeah.
in a relationship between
Flipping the
a woman
societal
and a
norm.
man.
Yes, exactly.
Unless, well, okay, I'm making a big assumption because I have no idea how other relationships work. Well, okay, I can make a guess as to how other relationships work, but
Yes.
generally, I would say I understand heterosexual relationships more.
May I answer my
Yes.
opinion first, guys, if it's not a problem with
Answer
you?
your opinion.
All right.
I keep getting blocked.
Me personally, right? I would never want a woman to propose to me. I'll throw your ring in the garbage. I want to propose to you. Like, get out of my face with
I'm
that.
on
You're
that
not proposing
mindset
to
too.
me. Absolutely not.
But here's the thing, right? So back to what I was saying. First of all, couldn't it? I'm just saying this just because it kind of came up naturally.
Not saying that I don't love her, by the way. If we that far, we engage in all that.
I'm not even going there yet, right? Wouldn't there be issues in a lesbian relationship too? Let's say this person, I would say, takes the lead in the relationship.
Oh, so they're the
Wouldn't
ones-
they also be like
Wouldn't it be
feel like they're
funny-
the ones that want to
the
propose?
lead.
This is way
Yeah,
out
yeah,
of our
yeah, like,
territory.
yeah.
But now I'm just thinking, wouldn't that
is-
be something that
that would be
that
pretty-
happens?
Yeah, I guess we gotta do a
opening
little bit of-
Pandora's box.
We
bro.
do gotta
I
do
am,
a little
I am,
research
I am.
on that because it's like it is very
curious, is that
interesting.
an issue?
Angle. Because then what if it's the other one that isn't, the one that doesn't take the lead most of the time, and then they do it? Then you're like, whoa, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's like
Okay, Mr. Rabbit Hole.
interesting.
Dang.
Could that be an issue? I wonder. Anyway, so yeah, back to our personal opinions. Me as well, I believe that the man should propose, just because with the dynamics of relationships these days, and not just thinking of what happened in the past. These days, men are realizing, one, they do want to actually lead. They do want to be the breadwinners in a sense. They want to, I guess, have that fulfillment within a relationship. So I think proposing is a part of that. Establishing, this is my part of the relationship. This is what I'm going to do. Now, of course,
Very
people
interesting
choose to
angle.
do many different things. People are comfortable with many different things, and it's fine. You do what works for you. Me personally, though, I would like to be the one proposing. Establish myself.
Now, what is your stance on that? Do you feel it is You want to be the one that proposes because you want to be the one in full confidence that, yes, I want to take it to this level? Or more or less, obviously, because it's talking about the societal standard, because obviously, it's the male that will propose to the female in terms of a heterosexual relationship, right?
I would like to say yes to the
Open,
first thing
right?
that you said in terms of that question.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be the one to take it to that next level.
But then, because I can see that. But do you have an issue if it is, if your partner is the one who decides to do that? If they're the ones who are the opener instead of you? Would you be like, how you gonna beat me to the punch like that? Like, or how that other flip of the scenario?
I won't be react in a way of anger or just be outwardly offended.
Mm-hmm.
It would just, it would be surprising.
Oh, yeah.
Because I personally feel like I would be in a relationship where it's established that I'm going to be the one doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, marriage isn't something that's going to pop up. We're going to be discussing this.
Yeah, or it'll be like,
So-
there'll be like some allusion to it or alluding to it because you feel like the relationship has reached that level. Because those
Exactly.
conversations will pop up. So
Yeah,
say,
it happens.
you and your partner end up having a conversation pertaining to it. So it's like, so obviously they're going to be thinking like, okay, we might be getting there.
Yeah. All right, so just so the audience knows, we all folded, so Donte wins.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we allude to, obviously.
yeah,
you
we
know,
allude to that
Generally,
level might be
you
popping
allude
up.
to that scenario in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get there, it's not a surprise. So I would imagine the person that is proposing, person that is proposing, they already know what ring the other person wants, the size of the ring they need, or where they want to be proposed. So obviously this is talk about. So they would also know if the other person, again, this doesn't happen to our relationships because there's plenty of times people propose and the other person rejects.
Yeah.
You would think the other
Ouch.
person would know that they would want to be proposed to.
Yeah.
So I would say that also follows
Right.
heterosexual relationships when a woman proposes.
Because sometimes marriage can be discussed kind of early, randomly. Just the idealism of it in general. So some of these ideas are kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, and then it is also based on the partner that you're dealing with to that instance. Because if you just say, for my example, for me, if like I see the you wanting to propose to your partner, because I could see that if I reach that level, that energy, right, then I know that I would want to do it. But if she beat me to the punch, I know I'm a bantering type of person, so I'd be like, how dare you? Like, I'd be
But you wouldn't
butthurt
be
about it.
offended.
No,
You wouldn't be
I
outright
wouldn't be offended about it because at the end of the day, we marrying each other regardless. So that's the whole
Yeah,
nature.
like,
of
don't
it.
get me
deep
wrong. I know what I said earlier,
Yeah.
but I would never be offended by that. That just shows me that you love me, you want to be with me, you want to take that next
And if
step.
my girl beat me to the punch like that, comedically,
Right, but
like-
let me be the one to do it. That's all I'm really saying. I want to be the one to initiate it.
All right, I have to ask now. So, what happens after? After they propose to you, then what? It's like, okay, you know what? I want to show that I wanted to be the one to do this, so I'm gonna re-propose to counter your proposal.
Right.
What's
Like, I'm
happen?
gonna take the ring out your hand, tell you to stand up, and then I'm gonna get on my knee. Like, nah, you not about to.
I make jokes about equivalency a lot. So I feel like if you gonna do that to me, then I gotta do it back to you. Like you can't just get away with
Well,
that.
Yeah, certainly in a relationship, some things need to be reciprocated. You know.
As a matter of fact, given this conversation now, when I do get my new fiance in the future, I'm gonna walk around with my own ring at all times. So just in case she tries that, I'm gonna be like, no.
I mean, if she's your
allow
fiance,
me.
you kind of already did the work. Okay, I know what you're talking about. I'm just joking. I do want to go back to something you mentioned a little bit earlier.
Yes.
About you would take the ring out of her hand and get down on your knee. Doesn't that kind of cheapen
Oh.
the act? Because proposing is work. You gotta
Yeah.
plan the location.
Yep.
You gotta get the ring, like I said.
Yep.
You gotta make sure everything's fitted perfectly.
Nah.
You gotta get the person there. You gotta pop the question. Like once you already break that barrier, they already asked you.
Yeah, there's some organization.
You already know they're gonna say yes.
Talk to the
So-
waiter. You'll put that in that wine glass.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, you got to set it up. So it's like
All
you
right.
kind of already know the answer. So
May
is
I-
it as
Let me answer the question with a like hypothetical analogy, right? Let's say somebody bought you your dream car, right? Keys, ignition, everything is all yours, right? Nobody ever drove the car yet. It's your dream car. Now, right before you about to test it for the first time, oh no, let me drive it for you, and they just throw you in the passenger seat. It's still your car, it's still your ride, but didn't you want that luxury of being the first one to drive your own dream car?
Oh yeah.
And then that just got taken. That's what that kind of feels like to me. I'm not saying that that's necessarily a problem if the girl does propose. Whatever y'all do in y'all relationship, that's y'all business. But for me personally, it would kind of feel like that kind of opportunity. Like you just robbed me like that. Let me get that.
Here's what I'm saying. Because you brought up the analogy of that feeling of driving the car. I'm talking about working day and night, putting money together to save up for that car.
Yeah.
Getting a license, getting insurance, making those calls. Looking around to different dealerships to get. And then, out of nowhere, this person's like, yo, here's a car. Forget all that work you did. Just take it.
Now watch this. That goes back to proving my point. All that hard work, that's what makes the man feel so much better about hearing the yes when he does it.
That work did not come through fruition. Somebody else did it for him. So it's like, why did I do all of that work for?
But then
so that's what I'm saying. Would you guys feel offended?
Nah, because if you think of that build-up, then she's the one who initiated proposing to you. So wouldn't that mean she also followed that same path of trajectory to get here as well?
That's what I'm saying. She did all that work for you. Do you feel? I'm gonna say. Do you feel like less of a man because they did that for you?
Nah, not to me. But it's based on the perception of thought. Because, I mean, of course, in terms of the ring aspect, right? The person gets the ring to, what's the word? Similar to yours, or, the ideal ring, I guess, example. Because, there's the 2 rings thing. So, you specifically get them the 1 ring and then they get, get their own. Because, obviously, with the marriage thing, it's a 2-people street. So, both of you financially are investing into that whole thing. Because, marriage can be a whole money debacle. But, dang, with that,
marriage is an investment. Yes,
it is an investment.
And 2 people do invest. I would say for a marriage to work, people do have to invest equally.
Yeah,
but that investment doesn't have to be the same, and we know that.
No, it don't.
Talking how spicy, the better 75. So yeah, with that being said, again, well, okay, you guys are saying you're not gonna be offended, right?
No, well, not me.
Rather, you're okay. If it happens, fine. You just move on, but you let them know, hey, I wanted to be the one to do this. Right. I get that.
Unless, because the only thing I can think of is how you talked about that process if it happened prior to it, because you need that person's input to truly know how they feel about it. Because we know how societal norms are. The man, if you feel that level, the man is most likely the one that's going to do the proposing naturally anyway, right? But if it obviously, if you're not following the societal norm and you're going about it in a different way, you either discuss this prior, maybe there's a conversation that popped up here and there about it. Like, maybe she brought up, like, what if I did it to you, like, spontaneously or something like that. Then I guess it's to understand your perspective on it. As you see, my perspective is like, I don't really care that much. That's not that big of a deal to me. It doesn't make me feel any less than, because I'm like, hey, we still going through the process at the end of the day. And then maybe you might want to do something to make up for it. Because the girl kind of does that aspect too, because of how special you made them feel by proposing to them.
They'll make up for it.
Yeah.
Because what I'm talking about, the difference in investment. Men and women invest differently in a relationship. So just you saying that you feel like you need to make up for it is exactly what I'm saying. Now, what are you going to do?
Wouldn't they feel that way for you in terms of you're the one who proposed to them?
If it was already established.
Because weddings tend to be very catered.
I cut in?
Well, let me finish here.
All right.
Weddings tend to be catered a lot to the female perspective a lot of times, in terms of like how it's supposed to be and this and that. There's a lot of idealism to it. So, in essence, it sounds like the whole process is kind of catered more towards the partner. So you get the angle that I'm going towards here. That how does it play out the other way around in terms of you as the guy in the scenario?
I feel like we're drifting into the fairness of marriage.
Well, the fairness aspect.
I kind of want to hear.
Because there's the less than a man, but then at the same time, a good chunk of the process.
Well, again, that's just an opinion. I'm just trying to see you guys' opinion.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about
dealing with the situation. So let me hear what do you have to say, Donte?
We have to keep in mind also that most women is not in the mindset of proposing to the man. They are waiting for the man to propose to them.
Yep.
So we got to keep that in mind as we have this conversation. We can't talk about it as if it's literally like an even thing all around the board, because this is not something that happens like every other day. Like if I walk through like a nice city environment or like a very national known park or like a big landscape or whatever, 9 times out of 10, if I catch that event happening, it's gonna be I walked up on a guy proposing to the girl. It's not like I'm walking up on a girl proposing to a guy. We're just talking about if the situation was flipped. So keep in mind with that mindset. I'm not really too worried about her mentality on it from like what we was talking about earlier. I was trying not to forget what you said, which is why I wanted to cut in when I wanted to cut in. But just for the sake of proving my point, in terms of the girl proposing to me, well, the woman proposing to me, I should say, I'm not going to be offended, but I am going to be like upset at the fact that you took away an opportunity that I feel like was meant for me personally. That's me personally.
But that, like I said,
I want to be
also,
the initiator.
Yeah,
like,
that's
I'll
also,
feel better about myself being the initiator in that scenario.
But you know that goes into what I said because it's connected to the societal norm of what is expected from that scenario. It is expected for the male in terms of heterosexual relationship to be the one to propose. That's just how society always pushes.
Yeah, but I
that.
mean, expected or not, I still want to be the one to do it.
I mean, then you'd have to, you have that conversation. That's it.
Yeah, and then that's why I asked the follow up because you now said you would try to make up for it. So how would you make up for it?
Well, the thing is, in terms of the process of it, I guess there's a spectacle to it, right? So
Certainly.
Proposing to you means they set up a
Not all
scenario,
proposals
so-
are spectacles. Not all proposals are grand.
But it'd have to be something that can.
Well, it's a grand gesture, but they're not.
I'd have to think on it, but it'd have to be something.
public scale.
Obviously, a grand gesture is something that can be equivalent to that process or to that degree of planning and time executed. You know, it can be a variety of things, but it's most likely something that caters to something that person might really want in the scenario. Maybe they wanted to go to a specific type of spot or a certain event or something like that. Something important to them that they wanted to do. And it could be the closest thing to executing that because it'll bring your partner to that highest high level that they gave you by them being the one to propose to you. Because when you propose to that person and they accept it because they truly love you, you should see how jubilant that partner is when that actually happens. It's one of the highest highs they ever reach in terms of an emotional standpoint. So you'd have to try something to try to match that same level of standpoint, which is why I was saying maybe something that is special to them.
And that's my point there when I was bringing up, men and women invest differently. Because now you're saying you need to then provide that emotional response. Is that not the job of
as
a man?
a partner, I guess I would want that equivalency to a degree to show that the nature of that relationship.
Now you see the point, because the woman now say, okay, he proposed to me, I will now propose to him to. Sorry, because I'm tired of when I edit the videos, I hear myself talking. I'm like away from the mic, so I'm gonna correct that. Okay. When a man proposes to a woman, at least from what I know, generally, you don't hear the woman going like, "I will reciprocate that, and I will propose to you to make you happy," or do a even grand gesture in the same sense to provide that same emotional response. You don't hear that.
You don't. But that's
so
based on that
now
person's
why do
personal
you? That's what I'm
relationship,
saying.
We don't know a lot of the
it's
intricacies
different.
of it.
So if you're gonna go through all those lengths, I'm picking on you right now. I'm sorry. I'm just to prove a point. If
I'm
you're
trying
gonna
to
go
see
through all
what you're
those
trying to
lengths to
prove,
match it. Why not just propose?
I mean,
why not
wanna
say,
do
hey,
that.
you messed it up? And I'm being honest, you messed up the dynamic because now I feel like I need to get you back.
But I mean, wouldn't they feel the same way by you being the one to propose? Because it sounds like the female in the scenario
it doesn't
does
happen.
nothing. That's what you make. That's the thing that I'm saying. It sounds like they do nothing to equivalent that scenario. The equivalency is what you feel jubilant because they accepted you. I mean, yes, you both should be at the same high in that scenario. But then, what if you were rejected? There's also that as well.
Isn't that the risk men take every single day?
Yeah, there
getting
is
rejected?
that risk, right? But the thing is, I'm saying is that they can
men and
also
women,
play
but,
that role
you
as well.
expect it.
Because there's plenty of
In this case, men more.
females or women who want to go about that process themselves. Maybe they want to be the ones that initiate that scenario. Like I said, there's the setup of societal norms that make us feel like there's a problem if we're the ones that don't do it. That's the thing that I'm trying to get around here. Because what about the woman involved in the scenario? Like, the thing is, we don't know the personal relationships of certain people, so we just got stock images that we can utilize because we don't know the nature of the relationship. They could do plenty of things later on that
we have people in our lives that have gotten married.
Yeah,
Shoot.
but we only have.
We're
the
in our
societal
mid-20s.
norms.
We know several people, close people that have gotten married already. We can definitely speak from experience. I wouldn't just.
But
say
not
stock.
in the instance where we had somebody that we know.
Well, we even know people where
That we know that
the
done this
woman
yet.
initiated first.
Well, in terms of like a relationship, but
Yeah.
proposing, we don't got that.
Right.
But
if
that-
you
that's
could initiate the
something that we
relationship, why
want.
not initiate the proposal too? I'm not saying to say
I don't
there's
know, they're
nothing
not the same.
wrong.
Yeah, they're the same.
It's just that, oof. Wait, no.
I matched.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. Donte raised to 100, guys. I can't count. We do this all the time. I always mess up the count. I'm going to match Donte. He bet 100. All right, so just to get back to the conversation.
Yes.
I'm not trying to say there's anything wrong
Yeah.
with this. Again, you do what you want to do.
But I'm seeing
But if
your
there's that
perspective
feeling
on it.
of it not feeling complete, then I feel like that's my reason as to why
It not feeling
you guys should
complete.
just
Oh, I
propose.
mean, that's basically your mentality of it. Mine's is I don't care. I never had that want to be the one to initiate it. But when I get to that level, then if I do it, then I did it. But it's most likely what I discuss in my own personal relationship with that person. If it's something that we
Right.
discussed, then I have the small expectancy that maybe they might pull a reverse Uno card on me. All right? But then when I'm ready, I could easily be the one that does it. Not that it's a race.
Mm-hmm.
Because, some people might propose early and then it's like, you sure? I don't think we're ready. There's been that plenty of times.
That's just being smart. But in the case of let's just wrap this up so we
Yes.
don't keep repeating it. We're in agreement. Again, there's really no big issue. It's about preferences in your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of what. So essentially, you guys are okay with it. You guys have no issues. If they do propose.
Yeah,
you
I mean,
just
I've
deal with
heard
it.
I've heard
It's not,
you guys'
it's not a
angles.
deal breaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It's not a deal breaker for me, but I would be frustrated because this would be a topic we discuss.
Split.
Let's just see.
This is split.
Yep, it's a three-way split. Awesome. Okay, yeah, so we all got our money back. Nobody lost anything. Thank you, Dawson. All right, so I would say though I would have some minor issues with it. Again,
Yes.
because like I said, it would be something we talked about. So if that happened to me, they would be going behind my back.
Well,
And they're
yeah.
just doing it because they either feel like I'm going too slow, or they just feel like they want to do it just because. And that's not gonna fly.
I think I did.
This just brings up the whole point of how independence, I would say, not independence, but trying to control boundaries in a relationship
Okay.
can break it.
Right.
And I think independence is a part of that too.
Well, this can correlate to discuss the boundaries of what you might want from as it progresses to these type of levels. Because this is a conversation that'll randomly pop up if you've been in a relationship for a good deal. So you could easily propose that idea.
Which leads into the next thing we wanted to talk about.
Right.
Right. Can independence clash with a relationship? Can you saying you don't need this affect how you react or how you treat somebody else in a negative manner?
Okay.
Or basically, for a more clear way of saying it,
Yes.
can a woman's mentality on proving that she's an independent woman cause her to miss out on the benefits of having a happy relationship with a man?
See, I wasn't trying to say independent woman.
Yep.
I was trying to say
You're
whisper it.
specifying independent.
I mean, all right, listen.
But
the
if
mentality
you,
of
if
a
that's
lot
what
of them
you
tend to
wanna-
have.
that-
No, the mentality of
I'll be
I gotta
like,
prove
this
my
sounds
independence.
like
That's what
your
I'm getting at.
topic.
No. I'm getting at the mentality of the independence and how it
All right.
tends to cause
Now,
problems sometimes.
Is this independence correlating to both male and female, or specifically female?
I'm specifically addressing females.
Okay, so that means
Well,
the
women
topic
right
is
now. Women
Let's
side.
talk about women now, and then I would like to expand it to
Yeah. The main thing I'm trying to get to, the topic that I'm bringing up,
Yes.
a lot of women in relationships, and not all, I'm not saying all, tend to try so hard to prove their independence that they get in a relationship, and it starts to cause issues because now they're trying more to prove that they're independent than to show that they want to be in that relationship.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for wrapping that up. It's always hard to bring up topics like this because everybody wants to be politically
Yeah,
correct.
I wanna just make
Yeah,
sure that
it's
it's
Nah,
hard
I'm
to-
just going to straight up
Right.
bring up
I just want the topic to
politics
be-
not
So,
involved.
Yeah, I want
First thing I want to
the
say,
topic to be
yes,
clear. Yeah.
at least in the sense we're talking about this independence can be an issue because you start to say, you don't need a person. And granted, it's good to not need somebody. It's good to be able to support yourself. If something goes wrong, you could fix things. It's just nice, right? It's not even nice. It's necessary to be able to do things on your own.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, you have to operate your life in terms of being independent to handle your own means. That's the whole goal. That's what your parents do all this work for, to teach you, right? And then from there, you can forge your own relationships and whatnot, but it's managing how to go about those relationships or the comfortability of being independent, because some people become, a bit too comfortable with the independence, and thus they don't know how to conduct themselves properly in relationships. Now, how this correlates to the female perspective here is what Donte was correlating to, where they start preaching the independence, like they start making it become like, I don't need you, I don't need this. Certain arguments can end up going into that type of way where it's like, we have the relationship dynamic, but then you start to act as if you don't need anybody to function. That's what Donte was doing with this topic.
Because, no, you go ahead. You was about to talk. Let me not.
Yeah, here's the thing, because we bring up the whole perspective of not needing anybody, and here's why that happens. Well, at least, again, why I think that happens, because people get into relationships, and it's just about combining happiness and combining finances, and then everything is just all hunky-dory, and then everybody just, lives happily ever after. But it's more than that. You're combining struggles as well. You're combining responsibilities in terms of not just responsibility of taking care of children, but taking care of the home. And again,
That's a match.
you guys are wild, and some guys, some women too, they feel fulfilled doing certain roles. And then now when you bring up the whole topic of, I'm independent, I don't need you to do this, you may say, okay, this person may be good at doing this, but I could handle it. So I don't want them. Oh my God, y'all both got a full house, the same full house. It's a tie. So back to conversation.
It's a two-pair. It's a two-pair.
7. Oh, sorry, I combined these. My bad. So a person may say, this person can do this, but I'm independent, so I don't want him to do it. And that person will no longer get the fulfillment of, doing that thing they feel that they provide to the relationship. That's where things might break down. Now all of a sudden, then your ego gets involved, because it's like, hey, I thought I was good at doing this. I thought you enjoyed doing this, but now you don't want me to do it because you're independent. Or I wanted to provide this to the relationship, and then, all of a sudden you didn't need this. So now I feel more so inadequate. And I know what some people say, that's male fragile ego, or ego, sorry. Ego. Male fragile ego or just
fragile ego because of that.
May I chime in?
Yeah,
Yes.
jump in.
So pretty much my whole perspective on this, right? There's absolutely not a thing wrong with a woman being able to hold herself down, take care of herself, do and provide the whole nine. That is absolutely there is absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
The issue that I have is when you get into the relationship and now every single thing you do is centered around I don't need your help or I don't want you here, and then me being a man, it's not about whether I can do this for you or not. Do you want to be here with me? Show me that you want me.
Right.
I already know you can hold your own. I didn't try to get with you to provide for you or just do that only. I got with you because I want to be with you, love you, care about you. I have feelings for you. Can you reciprocate that? I already know you can hold your own. I already know that if I left or if you left, we both be good either way.
Yeah.
Show me that you want to be with me. Stop. I get it. You're independent on your own, but show me that you want to be here.
Right.
I know you don't need to be here. Let me know that you want to. They start making their tendencies of showing that they could provide for themselves start to be like with the simple things in a relationship. Oh, yeah, I don't need you. I don't need this. This is a waste of my... Like, no. There's certain things that you have to understand. There's a difference between being able to hold yourself down and then pushing somebody else away just to show you can hold yourself down. The other thing isn't necessary. You don't have to keep pushing your man to the side or acting like you don't want to be with him just to show that you don't need him. He knew that already. Show him that you want to be there.
Okay, my perspective on it. So there's the support angle, because a relationship is about supporting one another in terms of that instance, in terms of bond there. So the issue is if your mentality on being independent makes you start doing your own actions separate from the support of your partner, or you just operate in a way where it's like you're solo but you're in a relationship. When a relationship is about the unity of the two people, not just you operating like solo dolo here, or you're in charge of a lot of situations. And then you start flexing that whole, the power angle of, I can cut out whenever I want to, not showing that level of support or that you know how to conduct yourself properly in the relationship. The struggle with the being independent thing. When you start making that mentality start to make you feel as if you don't need anybody at all and you can do everything on your own. When human beings are literally social animals, we have to have the support of one another to do anything. But there's the deception of being led into believing that we can do all these things on our own.
So here's the thing. You guys are saying there is support that is needed in a relationship, no matter how independent you are. It sounds like.
Yeah.
And that support just may be getting love, as Donte was alluding to.
Emotional.
Yeah,
thank you. Emotional support.
Emotional
that's
support.
provided.
There's the emotional support. Not necessarily financially, of course, because if you're both independent,
Well, yeah.
you know.
That would defeat the whole
But
point
it's
of bringing
just
up
if
this
you
argument.
do things
Wait.
together.
What if you're both not independent? What if the man needs financial support?
Then I don't think she would have gotten that relationship in the first place.
She would not.
If I'm keeping it
It's-
real
it's
with
the-
you, that
it's-
relationship
like I
wouldn't
said-
have
Women
happened.
wouldn't date somebody that's making less than them, is what you're saying?
Nah, not necessarily
No,
that.
I'm
but
talking about a lot of. Think about what I brought up. Usually, a woman with that mentality, and I'm not saying that she don't have a right,
Right.
wouldn't want to get with a man who's struggling like that
No,
anyway.
they'd want to get with somebody more akin to their level. Not exactly like the same pay grade, but that they're independent on their own. They make their own means or whatever. It's so they know that you can support yourself and that y'all can have fun together without there always being an issue, or it feels like they always gotta, the financially dependent angle there.
I'm gonna just look. I agree with the
Because that
needing
that becomes a
emotional
little
support.
unfair because it's like.
So essentially, the whole thing about independence, which sounds like guys are saying, is BS because emotional support is needed in a relationship. I'm going above and beyond and say, there is more than emotional support provided in a relationship.
Yeah.
And if a person isn't providing what they feel they can add to the relationship, they're gonna feel inadequate and they're gonna feel like an ego will get involved and feel like they need to cut out.
They'd have to discuss it, and then if that person seems to not want to match energy with them, then it's not for you in terms of compatibility.
Because I'm saying there's a need to support.
Yeah, but then there's that angle you mentioned in terms of ego getting involved. Because ego becomes problematic in relationships. Oh god.
So, just want to ask: do you guys agree that? Okay, let's say you guys were in relationships. Would you say that if your woman was all of a sudden saying, "All right, you no longer need to take out the trash. I'm gonna do it," would you feel a type of way?
That's not a big enough of a drastic change for me to give that time of thought. Something like that is like, okay,
now, what
no
if she's
problem.
like, "All right, you never need to drive a day in your life. I'll do all the driving from now on."
No, that's ridiculous.
I'd be like, we could.
I mean, we
can alternate.
I want to be able to drive my own car. I like the feeling of driving.
I'd be
I'm
like,
not gonna take that
so
from
that's ridiculous.
No, if she's
Hold on.
Yeah, if she's saying
Go ahead.
if she's saying that the feel of driving, like she wants to drive, okay, then yeah, if we both have our own cars, why do I got a car if you're gonna drive all the time? The heck, what I bought a vehicle for?
All right, let me
Don't make sense.
respond to you correctly, so I'm not misunderstood.
Yeah.
Ask me your question again, bro.
So
Your first one and second
So the
one.
first question was one: if a woman said, "All right, I got you. You no longer need to take out the trash."
Okay.
Right.
I'm going to take that as we live in the same house and you just agreed to make that the chore that you handle.
Yeah, you and
Because we both are going to be handling things in the house. If you say I don't need to take care of the trash again, all right, I'm going to find something else that I can focus on now. That's going to be my chore. Like, all right, if I don't need to take out the trash, fine. You don't need to wash the dishes or something. That's the way I'm seeing that. I'm not looking at it as, oh yeah, well I'm a man and men take out the trash, so let my ego get in the way and act ridiculous and belligerent because she said I don't need to take out. No,
Exactly.
that's not what I'm going with that. As for the car, like Jaquan said, what did I get my license for? What did I pay money for a car for if
Yeah.
I'm never going to touch
Heck
it?
yeah,
That's
I'ma
ridiculous.
drive.
You're not going to take away what I paid to allow
Yeah.
myself to be able to do.
We can take turns.
Yeah, right. There's no
Right.
problem taking turns, but you're not going to
yeah.
take away my
grocery
privilege
shopping?
of
I think
driving
we're
altogether.
segueing
No.
into somebody else being independent. So.
We're not segueing. I'm just
Leading-
responding to you.
Well, okay. And I'm just saying that to say it sounds like somebody else's independence could also be the reason why you feel like you're being locked down. Their independence holds you down. And to an extent, I'd say I agree because if they're all of a sudden say, hey, I got all these things, you no longer need to do this. Let's see. I'm sorry. That is $250, correct? Okay. Yeah, you no longer need to do this. You may feel like, well, I kind of enjoy doing these things for myself. So, yeah. In a sense, I could see that breaking up a relationship. If all of a sudden you feel like again, this whole thing of inadequacy that I keep bringing up.
Yeah.
A
Oh,
lot of
I
people
see
be
where you're
like,
getting with the
independence could bring
inadequacy
up inadequacy, certainly.
Two pair. Yo.
Yeah, this is the most amazing game. Like we keep
Another
splitting
You wanna
every
laugh?
single game.
You wanna laugh? I had a freaking 8 and Jack. I was looking for a straight.
7. You was looking for the 7.
Yeah.
I literally
I
was
was
about
looking
to
for the
get
straight
it.
I was looking for it too.
I was about to get
Sorry
it.
to interrupt the conversation, y'all. This game is crazy.
Yeah, we the
Every
splits,
single time we
bro.
do this
What's
game, we
up with
keep
the
splitting.
splits? And then I lost my chip.
Anyways,
Yes.
yeah. So I definitely feel like inadequacy could be a issue. All
All right. I think we kind of.
Yeah. So
we
let's just
kinda- we
quickly
kinda got
segue
that.
into
Yeah.
both now. We were talking about the perspective of a woman saying she's independent. Now what about a man doing that? Tell the woman, okay, now let's flip it. I'm picking very specific roles. Just by the norm, they tend to sway towards certain genders. So now let's say a man is like, all right, you no longer need to cook. I'll do all the cooking. Do you feel like that could be problematic? Because again, that feeling of providing something in a relationship, I feel is priceless.
Okay,
I understand
see.
people
I
want to
mean,
do that. So now what if a
yeah.
woman is like, oh, you don't like my cooking? Oh, what? What am I supposed to do now? Because like,
Take that and then take this. So it's
okay.
even.
Yeah, just do it.
Pass the red.
So now let's say a woman is, thank you. A woman is saying,
Yeah.
one, oh, you don't like my cooking. Or two, now what am I supposed
All
to do? Wait, 1 second.
Oh,
I'm gonna wrap it up.
go
So,
ahead, go ahead.
because you did bring up, when I brought up the trash thing, you said, oh, I'm gonna do something else. So now what if you don't have that something else to do? You don't have that something to provide. Essentially, it all boils down to. I'm sorry, I know I'm dragging on.
No. Go ahead. I'm just thinking.
Essentially, all boils down to: do you actually need to, with this thing of independence? Do you need to provide something in a relationship to feel like you belong in that relationship?
All right. Let me properly respond to you because as you're asking your question, you segue into several different topics that could lead into
Yeah, I
several
just-
different conversations
Yeah, all right.
before I could answer your specific point.
Right.
Okay,
So we
But
can
I
wrap it
am
up.
going to answer the specific point just for the sake of like staying
Yeah.
on the topic that we got.
Yes.
We can wrap it up.
As long as you're not imposing your will over somebody's want to do something,
Yeah, exactly.
then I don't see that as a problem. If
Right.
you're saying that and they're in agreement and it's like, all right, no problem, you handle that,
Yes.
that's one thing. But if they say one night, babe, I want to cook you something special. No, I told you I had. Now that's toxic.
Yeah, exactly. You're starting.
Give
to
somebody
control.
a chance to do something if they want to do it. Like
Right.
if they want to go out, they will, and they wait to actually do something for you or show you that or have that time.
Yeah.
Let them have that if they want to do
Yeah,
it.
it's not even said.
When you take
just
away
do it.
their ability or you do not allow them, like they don't have a choice in the matter, that's when it becomes an issue.
Yes, I agree with Donte in terms of this.
But it doesn't take away from the relationship. As long as y'all in agreement between who does what, when they do what, and who's allowed, that is absolutely no problem. But once you take away somebody's choice, now it's an issue.
Yeah.
I think that wraps it up beautifully, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So independence is not an issue until you start going. Because obviously I was discussing the extreme. So until you start getting to the point where, like Donna said, you take away somebody's choice, then it becomes an issue. So,
All right, I almost forgot.
certainly.
And that goes all around the board for both men and women. You being an independent man, you can be an independent man, just don't be imposing your will where you're forcing things instead of being in agreement with things.
Right.
Same thing with a woman. Don't start over imposing your will or trying too hard to prove that you don't need the man while you're with the man. He already knows you don't need him, like I said earlier. Just show that you want to be with him. And as a man, remember that's your woman. That's not your servant. That's not your slave. That's your woman.
Your partner.
That's your part. Right.
Okay. Yeah, I heard it first from the guru. All right?
Look, I ain't no guru. I'm just
No, that's
I'm just
beautiful.
taking it a
Don't
day at a
overimpose
time
your
like
will.
everybody
Look,
else. I'm learning as I go, bro.
I think the whole lesson behind it is just to wrap it all up, bring it all together with both the topics is do what you're comfortable with in your relationship. Just don't go to the extreme. Just again, don't overimpose your will, like Dante said. Don't try to make that person into something they're not. That's it.
Right. And remembering that there is a balance to these things. That's it.
And don't propose to me either. Let me do it.
All right. Wait, hold on. Okay. Let's finally clap this. Let's see if we can do it. I'm ignoring Jaquan because he doesn't like the name. So it's going to be me and you, Dante. This has been Fold, where we discuss facts,
Omelets,
life.
donuts.
Okay. That is all.